Hi, this is Professor Correa, and today I'm going to teach you the simple past tense in Spanish called the preterite tense. Any action in the past in Spanish can be expressed in various tenses. It all depends on the context and the time frame when each action occurred. The three main forms of the past in Spanish are the preterite, the imperfect, and the present perfect. The preterite form is the most common one because that is the simple past tense to describe when an action has been completed. Example, ayer estuve en casa de mi abuela. Yesterday I was at my grandma's house. The imperfect tense, though, explains actions that stretch more in the past, and they are probably repeated several times in the past as well. Example, de niño yo iba a casa de mi abuela. As a kid, I used to go to my grandma's house. And finally, the present perfect has a relationship with the present tense. So when you complete an action in the past and you want to make it look like it has recently occurred, you use this form. Esta semana he ido a casa de mi abuela 2 veces. This week, I've gone to my grandma's house twice. The preterite explains specifically when an action has been completed, but it's very important to say when that action has occurred. That's why we have sometimes expressions like el otro día, the other day, la semana pasada, last week, anoche, last night, una vez, once, hace unos meses, a few months ago, or ayer, yesterday. Example, ayer comí una ensalada para el almuerzo. Yesterday I ate a salad for lunch. Preterite means just simple past tense in Spanish. The preterite verbs deal with a completed past action. How do you know how to conjugate each verb form? Well, you have to look at the ending for each specific person. For AR preterite ending verbs, please make sure that you add the following. Haste, o, hamos, hasteis, haron. Example, let's take a look at the verb hablar. Yo hablé. Tú hablaste. Él, ella, usted habló. Nosotros hablamos. Vosotros hablasteis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes hablaron. Two important things to notice in this conjugation. The yo and the él, ella, usted have an accent. Secondly, the nosotros form hablamos is the same form of the present tense. The only way to distinguish between present and past will be an expression, such as yesterday, last week, etc. Remember that AR verbs that have a stem change in the present tense do not have a stem change anymore in the preterite. Do you remember the verb cerrar? Cerrar was a stem changing verb that changed from E to IE. Example, cierro las ventanas de mi cuarto todas las noches. I close the windows in my room every night. However, in the preterite, there's no need to change to stem changing this verb. So we are going to use the verb as is. Ayer no cerré las ventanas. Last night, I did not close the windows. In the preterite, certain verbs whose infinitives end in zar, car, or gar have a spelling change only in the yo form. All of the other preterite forms will be regular. Let's take a look at some verbs ending in zar. If the verb ends in zar, like empezar or comenzar, you are going to substitute the z by a c. Example, empezar, empecé. Comenzar, comencé. Abrazar, abracé. Only in the yo form. The remaining forms will continue using the z. ¿Cuándo empezaste a estudiar en esta universidad? Empecé el semestre pasado. Verbs ending in gar will add an extra u in the yo form. Example, pagar, pagué. Llegar, llegué. Jugar, jugué. Example, ¿a qué hora llegaste a la universidad? Llegué a las 8. Verbs ending in car will have to change the C to a CQU. Example, sacar, saqué. Buscar, busqué. Tocar, toqué. Again, only in the yo form. ¿Cuántos libros sacaste de la biblioteca ayer? How many books did you check out from the library yesterday? Saqué solamente 2. I checked out only 2. The ER, IR ending verbs are y, iste, yo, imos, isteis, ieron. Notice that the yo and the he, she, usted will need an accent. Aprender. Aprendí, aprendiste, aprendió, aprendimos, aprendisteis, aprendieron. In the case of ER ending verbs, notice that it's not the same as in nosotros as in the present tense. Escribir. Escribí, escribiste, escribió. Escribimos, escribieron. Notice that the nosotros form will be the same as in the present tense. When we have verbs like creer or leer, we have a double ER verb. In the case of these verbs, we are going to change the third person singular and plural, including usted and ustedes, to a Y. Let's take a look. Leer. Leí, leíste, and when we get to the irregular, the third person, we are going to change it to leyó. The nosotros maintains the regular conjugation, leímos. Ellos, ellas, leyeron. So we are going to substitute it with a Y. Let's take a look at creer. Creí, creíste, creyó, creímos, creyeron. So, remember, the simple past tense in Spanish is called the preterit, el pretérito. Some forms of the preterit require an accent, like in the yo or in the third person, singular. For example, compré, compró, salí, salió. Also remember, not all stem-changing forms in the present tense will carry that irregularity in the past. For example, entendí, volví. Those are verbs that are stem-changing in the present tense. And finally, an expression in the past indicates that the action is completed. So make sure that you add any of the expressions that are posted in the class. Ayer, la semana pasada, etc. Thank you very much.